Hello students, in previous class we have already discussed the artificial inseminations or moiety in animals. So now we discuss apiculture as well as the pisciculture. Apiculture, its another name is beekeeping. Beekeeping is also called apiculture or bee culture. It includes the maintenance of hives of honeybees for the productions of honey and bee wax. It is commonly practiced in areas where there are sufficient bee pastures of some wild shrubs, fruits, orchards, and active and cultivated crops are also present. Among several species of honeybees, one of the most common that can be reared in our India is known as Apis indica. So these are the Indian species of honeybees. A successful beekeeping requires different practices. First, knowledge of the natures and habits of bees. So first, which type of habits and nature of bees? So first we gain the knowledge about the nature and habits of bees. Second, selections of suitable locations for keeping the bee hives. So there is a particular or area which is suitable for beekeeping, that is the suitable location. Next, catching and weaving. Catching and heaving of swarms, that means ki group of bee. Group of bee, its catching and heavings. Then management of bee hives during different seasons. So different seasons, their managements of bee hives is takes place and important. And last, handling and collections of honey and bee wax. That is the 5 major requirements for the beekeeping. Its ecological importance of bee. Bees are the pollinators of many crops species like sunflower, brassica, apple, and pears, etc., are the different types of crops where bees are pollinated and pollinators. Commercial importance of bee. Honey is used as food of very high nutritive value because honey provided the nutritive value in humans, so it is used as a food as well as the medicines also. Honey is also used in indigenous systems of medicines because mostly Ayurvedic medicines are made up of with the help of taken with the help of honey, so it is also used for the medicines. Bee hives is used in industries to prepare cosmetics and polishes. So its bee wax is used by the industries for the purpose of preparation of cosmetics and polishes. So these are the beekeeping. It is known as apiculture. So where there is the rearing of bee is also honeybees is also known as apiculture or beekeeping. Now discuss. So fourth productions and fourth economic importance of honeybee is another bee product called bee venom. Bee venom is used for the treatments of arthritis, snake bites, etc. So these are the another products of bee. Bee venom is used for arthritis as well as the snake bites. Now second is known as pisciculture or fisheries. It is an industry that includes catching, processing, or selling of fishes. Fisheries is the an industry that includes catching, processing, or selling of fishes. Shellfish like mollusks, crustaceans, prawns, crabs, etc. are rearing in them. Some common Indian freshwater fishes are katla, rohu, and common crabs are also freshwater fishes in India. Some edible marine fishes are hilsa, sardines, mackerels, and pomfret are the also marine fish. Marine fish also. To meet the increasing demand of fisheries, different techniques like aquaculture and pisciculture are used. So, on the demand of fishes, there are pisciculture as well as aquacultures are used. These techniques helps to increase the productions of aquatic plants and animals in both fresh and marine water. So, pisciculture and aquaculture is a techniques by which productions of fresh and marine water plants and animals also takes place. That is also turned into the blue revolutions. Blue revolution is the increased productions of fish product. It was being implemented and started in India during 1960s along the same lines as green revolutions and white revolution. So blue revolutions is parallel and similar to green revolutions and white revolutions. It is established in India 1960s. So these are the marine and freshwater aquatic products. Now its importance. What is the importance of fisheries? A large number of a large part of human populations depends on fish and fish products for food. A large part of human population depends on fish and fish products for food. It provides income and employment to a large number of fishermen in coastal states. So these are the second economic importance of fisheries. Fish liver oil is used in medicine. Fish liver oil is used in medicine because it a natural source of vitamin A because it is a natural source of vitamin A. So fish liver oil is used in medicines. After discussions, we also differentiate aquacultures and piscicultures in these respects. So first, aquaculture is also known as aqua farming and involve farming of all types of aquatic organism. Aquaculture, it is also known as aqua farming and involves farming of all types of aquatic organisms in coastal as well as the inland areas. It involves productions of all types of aquatic plants. Aquacultures, in which productions of all types of aquatic plants and animals, both fresh water as well as marine water. There is little requirement of a special feed from outside. There is little requirements of a special feed from outside, and number of economically important substances are obtained, and number of economically important substances are obtained. Pisciculture. It is also known as fish farming and involves raising fish commercially in tanks for food. It involves culture of fish for food and related food animals in water bodies. Fish feed has to be provided from outside and yields only food items. So these are piscicultures and aquacultures. Both are different from each other. Now discuss the plant breeding. Plant breeding techniques of or purposeful manipulations of plant species in order to create plant types that are better suited for cultivations, give better yields and are disease resistant. So plant breeding is a technique of purposeful manipulation of plant species in order to create plant types that are better suited for cultivations, give better yields and are diseases. These are the definitions of plant breeding. The trait or characters. The traits or characters that the breeders have tried to incorporate into crop plants. The traits or characters that the breeders have tried to incorporate into crop plants are increased tolerance to environmental stress, such as salinity, extreme temperatures, drought, etc. So, plants increase tolerance to environmental stress like salinity, extreme temperature, drought, etc. Resistance to pathogens like viruses, fungi, and bacteria are the pathogens. So, plants resist to pathogens like viruses, fungi, and bacteria. Next, increased tolerance to insect pest. Then, high yielding and improved quality of crop plants like grain size, color, shape, flavor, protein content, etc. are the quality of crop plants which is used in the plant breeding. So, the traits or characters that are breeders have tried to incorporate in the crop plants. So now discuss plant breeding programs. Plant breeding programs. Earlier methods of plant breeding involved crossing or hybridizing pure lines, followed by artificial insemination to produce plants of desirable traits. So, plant breeding programs in earlier methods to involve crossing or hybridizing pure lines, followed by artificial inseminations to produce plants of desirable traits. So, there are the major steps in breeding a new genetic variety of crops are like collections of variability. These are the steps to new genetic varieties of crops obtained by a program. This is known as plant breeding program. So first is collections of variability. Second, evaluations and selections of plants. Evaluation and selection of plants. Then cross hybridizations among the selected parents. Next, selections and testing of superior recombinants. Then testing, release and commercialization of new cultivators like evaluations, testings and releasing. So these are the steps which involves in plant breeding, by which the breeding in new genetic varieties of crops takes place. So now discuss one by one of the steps for plant breeding program. First, collections of variability. Genetic variability is the root of any breeding programs. In this step, the pre-existing genetic variability is collected from wild varieties species and relatives of the cultivated species. Evaluations of their characteristics and preserved for effective exploitations of the natural genes. The entire collection of plants or seeds or diverse alleles for all genes in a given crop is called germplasm or germ collection. So first step is collections of variability in the form of germplasm collections. Second, evaluation and selections of parents. It is the another steps in which it is carried out by evaluating germplasm to identify plants with desirable combinations of characters. The selected plants are multiplied and hybridized by self-pollinations. Pure lines are created wherever desired and possible productions are also takes place. Now the third step is cross hybridizations among the selected parents. The parents which are selected in which cross hybridizations takes place. In this step, the cross hybridization between the parents is done due to produce hybrid that genetically combine to give desired characters in one plant. Cross hybridization is a time consuming and tedious process because it involves emasculations and bagging techniques to transfer pollen grains to the desired plants. The chance of desirable characters combining in the hybrid is also 1 in few thousands of crosses. So in which desirable characters and plants are also obtained. Next, selections and testings of superior recombinant. The steps consist of selection of plants among the progeny of the hybrid with desired combinations of parents or characters. The steps consist of selection of plants among the progeny of hybrid with desirable combinations of characters. The hybrid are superior to both the parents, male as well as the female. This is known as hybrid vigor or heterosis. The production is also known as hybrid vigor or heterosis. They are self-pollinated for several generations till they reach a state of uniformity or homozygosity in order. Reach at a state of uniformity or homozygosity in order to self-pollinated for several generations. They avoid the segregations of characters in the future progeny. They avoid the segregations of characters. That is the most important steps in which the characters are avoid to segregate in the future generations. And last steps, this is known as testing, release and commercializations of new cultivations or new cultivators. First, evaluations, testings and release. The newly selected lines are evaluated for their yield and other agronomic traits of quality, disease resistance, etc. The newly selected lines are evaluated for their yield and other agronomic traits of quality, disease resistance, etc. by growing them in the research field. Their performance is recorded under ideal fertilizer applications, irrigations and other crop management practice. Now testing. After evaluation, the hybrid line is tested in farmer's field. The crops is grown at different locations in the country with different agroclimatic zones for at least 3 growing seasons. The crop is grown at different locations with different agroclimatic zones at least 3 growing seasons. The tested material is evaluated in comparison to the best available local crop cultivars as a reference materials for marketing of the materials. So these are the testing of the crops after cultivators, and then last is release, the material tested in then selected to be certified and released in the bulk as a variety. So these are the steps involved in the breeding programs by which we also find out the new genetic variability of a crop plant. So now discuss Indian hybrid crops of high yielding varieties, HYVs. In India, agriculture accounts for about 33% of India's GDP and employ nearly 62% of the populations. The development of several high-yielding varieties of wheat and rice in the mid-1960s as a result of various plant breeding techniques lead to the dramatic increase in food productions in our country. So this phase is often referred to as the Green Revolution. So after increasing the yield and crop in the India, that also lead into the term of the Green Revolution. So in thank you.